Hello, everybody, and welcome to tonight's Off the Cuff. Tonight I'm joined by Craig and Randall, and we're just going to review a great win. Yes, folks, I said win over Leicester. To sum things up, I thought we were deserved winners. It's a good day. I think that sums up the things perfectly, doesn't it, folks? You must be buzzing after that, Craig, are you?
I am. I'm buzzing, and I'm also exhausted, Jonathan, because we don't do anything the easy way, do we? It had it all. It was a great advert for the Premier League, I'll say that, because the game had talking points, goals, full-blooded challenges. But from a Liverpool supporter's point of view, how many times did we think we were home and dry there and we went 2 up? But look, happy days. We got the win, and we'll get into it now in a minute. But great to be on, and great to be on after a win, thank God.
Yeah, it just it doesn't even bear thinking about how toxic things would have been if we didn't win. Randall, you must be happy as well with that, are you? Big smile on your face.
Yeah, I'm feeling great, but I probably have 50 more gray hairs, and I'll probably live 6 months less, but I don't think that's probably where Craig has no hair because he pulled it all out if it wasn't all the way out after that game. But yes, finally 3 points, and maybe we can just move forward from everything that happened in the past 2 weeks and just back on course. But it was just great, and it was, from my neutral's point of view, it was probably a tremendous match to watch. So I was great. 3 points.
Yeah, 3 points exactly. Just you could see the faces on the players and Klopp at the end, just how much that felt just to finally get it over the line. And look, hopefully people can find something else to talk about and stop moaning about Liverpool for a while. But yeah, it was a typical Liverpool performance. It's just what we come to expect supporting this club. If we don't realise that's how things are going to be, we may as well just try and support someone else. But the good news prior to kick-off, Craig, was that our wonderful centre-back pairing of Mapic and Lovren, even Mapic were fit to play. So that kind of, eased any fears, because I even had a team out last night which was kind of based on the two of them not playing. That's what a lot of the talk was. That would have been a scary scenario altogether. But it was good to... not quite first choice, but the team is getting there, isn't it? It's very close to being first choice at this rate, isn't it?
It is. Just Lallana really to come back in when he gets fit. But you might have been happy that the two lads were fit. I wasn't over the moon by any stretch of the imagination. Matip, yes, he certainly improved the team, but there's no saving Lovren for me. He's a donkey. It's the only word I can use to describe him. How many times in the first half did he give the ball away? Put us under needless pressure. I don't know about our centre backs. I don't know what to say. Don't know how to improve them. Don't know if it was a good thing that they were fit. But in answer to your question about the team, yes, the team is certainly getting closer and closer to what Klopp would like to see as his first 11. I keep saying, I've said it all week, Lallana is going to make a massive difference when he comes into that team. An absolute massive difference to everything. To our defending from the front, pressing, our attacking play, holding up, knowing when to pick the right balls. But I'm going a bit long-winded here, Jonathan, but yeah, it was great that he had a better bench to pick from this week, if nothing else.
Yeah, that's one thing we actually discussed prior to the game, Randall, was all of a sudden we have options on the bench, which is great to see. Now, thankfully, we didn't need them in an attacking sense today. It was more kind of bring them on just to wind things down. But there all of a sudden there's options there, and with a couple of Manny to come back and Lallana, as Craig has said, that squad is starting to thicken up a bit, and it gives us a lot more options, doesn't it?
Yes, it really does. And I mean, just to have Coutinho in the starting 11, you could really see that this is the role that we heard at the end of last season that he was going to play. He was receiving the ball way back on our side of the field. And I mean, he's working his normal, left side, dinking into the right. So it was really to see him. It hasn't been much, but this seems back to his form. But yeah, to have on the bench, you have Milner, Sturridge, Klavan, Oxlade, Chamberlain, Solanke, and Alexander-Arnold. So, you don't have Mane in there, but that is, a solid bench. We had Sturridge come on and Milner come on. And Milner, he's what we say over here in America, he's, bring your lunch pail to work type of guy. He's always going to put in a good shift. He's always going to be there where he needs to. So he's a great guy to have come off the bench. But I think one of the biggest positives was, get Coutinho back in, put that totally behind us, and start to realize where he can help us the most. So it was a positive thing finally with Coutinho, not a negative. So it was great to see.
Yeah, a good point there, actually, and it just leads us on nicely, Craig. I thought today was really the day that hopefully this is the line we draw in the sand, and that he's finally totally integrated back into the system. Like there was spells there even before he got the free kick. It felt like he was going to score this. It felt like everything was right. The crowd were singing his name. He's playing, buzzing. He's tracking really hard. You can see it means to him, like the whole Pasivo back injury is gone. Things just look right again, and hopefully we can just move on. And that was one of the most pleasing things for me in the first half, wasn't it? We'll dig a bit more, but I just had to glance on that first.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. I did a Periscope at half time and I was talking about the free kick and I was saying I love the guy. I hated him last month, but I love the guy because I'm a fickle fan, like most of us when it comes to players. But what can you say about Coutinho that hasn't already been said? There isn't many players in the world that could have come up with that ball for Salah. Like there was only maybe a square of 3 or 4 foot he could put that ball into that would have allowed Salah to attack it to score, and he put it on a postage stamp. It was awesome. The free kick, how long has it been since we had somebody step up to a free kick and almost feel like you have a 50-50 shot at scoring because he's that proficient with the ball from a dead piece.
He is. You could, I don't know about you guys, but I just felt he's just going to score here. It was never in doubt, and we've smashed a couple of them out. I know we got distorted by Trent sticking one up in against Hoffenheim, but since then, we've had free kicks, and you're like, meh, we're going to waste it. They'd almost become like our corners where you felt like we weren't going to do. But there, I just felt he was going to score. And Klopp, I think, summed things up perfectly afterwards. He said, Coutinho is a fantastic player. He produces magical things at crucial times of the game. This will give us confidence going forward. And that really was, he was that extra bit of sparkle that we had and that got us over the line today. But Randall, you want to give your views there on that beautiful free kick?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I mean, how many times in this season have we've gotten a free kick and we're kind of, you're thinking to yourself, it's Trent Alexander-Arnold and Moreno stepping up to it. And we don't have, yes, Trent scored that against Hoffenheim, which is great. He is still a young lad. So, there's going to be plenty of days going forward. But right there, it just looked, I was taking videos each because I put them up on our LFC Philly Twitter account. And a lot of times I won't video it, the highlight till after he scores. That one, I had it going as the play, boom, it was a free kick. And I started the video right then. So it was a great feeling to have. I mean, what I was going to say earlier to Craig's point was he really lived up to his Brazilian magician. Like that's just some of his plays are just, you just kind of shake your head and it's just, he put it in, a window of a yard by yard window to get it to Salah on that back post. And I mean, he's my favorite player. So I love him and he just does that. It's just one of those things. He's just, he's kind of what puts people in seats type of thing. I would go to watch him play.
Absolutely. And, he was immense there in the first half. But look, we'll try and just we got a little distracted there. Coutinho was excellent. And I just had to mention the fact that I really do feel that that's the moment where we all march on together and everyone's well and truly hand in hand together marching on.
You're a bit of a love in here, Jonathan, aren't you?
Yeah, well, look, I've made it blatantly clear that he's my favourite player, and he flirted with a couple of supermodels with me there in the summer, but I think he's back to his true love at the moment, and I think we're going to be a lovely couple together. I think there's going to be a brilliant partnership
Jonathan
there.
Jonathan and Phil sitting in a tree. K-I-S-S-I-N-G.
But yeah. Look, I'll happily, if he keeps banging in free kicks like that, I'll happily put up with little charms like that from
he's
my
awesome.
Craig here.
That's all you can say about him. When he's in full flow, he's awesome. And the commentators said it during the game. Well, they did over here anyway. I'm sorry, Randall, I can't speak for the commentators in America, but they said, look, that's why Barcelona wanted him. That's why teams want Phil Coutinho, because there's not many players in the world that can do what he does.
Yeah, I think it was the one correct thing that Glenn Hoddle got right all day. Jesus Christ, he's a dose to listen to.
The thing is if you have a solid defensive, back four, then there could in a game there could only be a couple of moments of brilliance. And what if it was, say, you take out that first goal and it was a defensive battle back and forth? Sometimes the free kicks are the only thing that you have a chance to score, and he is becoming a master at that. It's just the dip he has on the ball. He steps up with confidence. It's just, I mean, I know the love fest is buzzing right now, but I can't stop it. He just was, we'll get into the man of the match later, but I'm sure you can tell who I'm picking.
Well, yeah, I don't think even that. I think they closed that competition this week. Look, just to try and do a little recap of the game. It was kind of a similar sort of opening first 10, 15 minutes or quarter to the game than what it was the same as Tuesday night. We'd all the ball. I think we were up on the nearly almost 80% possession there at times and totally bossed the game. Miss an absolute sitter from Salah. Still can't figure out how he missed that one after the Chan ricochet. But I felt a little more confidence. I thought we were perhaps a little bit more compact as well. Like I thought the two guys in the wing, I thought they sat a little deeper and just added a little bit more structure to the play. And I wasn't really disheartened or I felt quietly confident there in the first while. Were you impressed with the start, Craig?
I was very impressed. You can see the guys were a little bit nervous at times. There was a couple of passes that went astray, and there was some, when you're nervous, you take that split second more to make up your mind and because you want to get the pass and stuff straight on. So you could see in the players that they really wanted to do everything right. As you said, we dominated the ball. We did look solid, and you know what? We looked more than anything else today, which was very pleasing. We looked clinical. And that's what we weren't during the week. Whereas tonight we seemed to take our chances. Yes, he missed the one that came off the post, but look, it came back at him really quickly. It is what it is. But the majority of times we got into attacking positions today, I thought we looked very, very threatening. And to come away with 3 goals, can't but be happy. So yeah, it was a great start.
Yeah, it was a great start. So after
they were set up well today. I think Klopp learned his lessons from the other day.
Yeah, he definitely made a couple of tweaks to the system, which just I thought added a little bit more structures. So then we get the breakthrough. I think it was about the 14th minute or so. A decent attack. Chan gets the ball, pings up a crossfield ball over to Coutinho, who does a kind of 1-2 with Minglet, and then just pings in just an absolute unbelievable ball. And Salah from the tightest of angles just nods it back, and you can question the keeper a little bit, but he's probably caught a little off guard. He didn't expect. I think he didn't expect the shot to come in from that type of angle, and it was just. I think Klopp's reaction summed it up more than anything. It was just kind of pure raw. Just did a couple of pure raw relief. Kind of. It wasn't like a wild celebration. It was just a couple of fist bumps to himself, and it was just we finally scored. It was a nice move, and that ball from Coutinho just had every fan drooling. Were you one of those that was off your chair as well, Randall, screaming your head off?
Yes, I mean, it was almost just like a big sigh of relief and an exhale, and that you could see that from Klopp. Later in the game, his other 2 celebrations were a lot more normal to what we expect from him, and we got to remember that these guys are all human, and that all the criticism and everything like that, it's still a game. Yes, it's very, very important, but there's a difference between somebody that's playing tight and somebody that's playing, and that's a little bit to the point of what we're getting at with the start. I just thought they just seemed a little bit tight, and that's just, it's been a little bit of a battle the last 4 games. So that was a good start, and it was important. That was my main thing if somebody asked me what's the most important thing, number one thing to start this game is just get on this, to score first, and then we can settle in, because then you're gonna, even though it was an away match, if they scored first, it brings the crowd into it. And to even to extend it, the last point on this is that our traveling cop was amazing through the whole game. You could hear them, at least on the American broadcast, that they were ready to go. You could hear them over top of all the Leicester fans, and I just want to give a shout out to them, because that's a big thing. If we can support them at the away matches, even with all the criticism that has come about, it was a great start. And like I said, that goal to that little dink over and Salah finish it. I've been a little bit critical on Salah about his finishing, but he was there, he finished it, and it was a solid start to the match.
Did anybody else notice that it took the Leicester fans all of 2.5 minutes to start singing "Did you ever see Gerrard win the league"? Yeah, it's just becoming a bit of a habit here with home fans. They just don't have any creativity. They can't come up with some decent chants.
That's all they can say to us.
Yeah,
they do know Gerrard hasn't played for us for a while, don't they?
I don't think they do. I think they thought he was playing there today.
Can I make one point though that we talked about on Monday, Jonathan, and Graham brought up the excellent article from Paul Tompkins, and this is the third time this week I think we've spoken about this article, but it's small margins. Today was decided on small margins yet again. You look at all the decisions, and we'll go through them one by one, but a couple of them go a different way. Particularly, I'm looking at the Emre Can handball incident. Let's be honest, that was a penalty. So Leicester should have had 2 penalties in quick succession, and that would have changed the entire face of the game again. So small margins today fell in our favour.
Just be quiet there for a second, and let's just drool over Coutinho a little bit more. I'm not having this negativity.
No, we're finished with Coutinho now. He's had his moment in the sun. Now it's time to get into Mignolet.
Yeah, you must have loved that cross.
He's our Belgian keeper.
What was Mignolet doing, by the way, during the game? He had 10 seconds, and he then decides that he wants to do a Cruyff turn again and gives the ball away. That was it was just typical Mignolet.
A brain fart, and oh god, look, Mignolet, look.
I'll quickly go through. Mignolet gave away a stupid penalty that he shouldn't have gave away.
Yeah, I don't know how he misses the ball there.
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt that he was fouled for the first goal. I'll give him that one, but it is exactly what I've been worried about. Simon Mignolet, he has it in him to make these stupid decisions. And Jonathan, you rightly said in our WhatsApp group, it was a blatant penalty when was it Vardy he took out of it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but it didn't need to be. If you had just made connection with the ball and concentrated on kicking the ball and not half pulling out of the tackle, it would never have been a penalty.
Yeah, the official term is he shot himself when he saw Vardy coming in. Look, I'm gonna sound like a broken record.
How do you not want to kick Jamie Vardy though? I would have loved to have gone through him and the ball.
That's what I mean. All he had to do was just come out and connect on the ball, and it wouldn't have been there. So I mean, but that right there it summed up Mignolet for us. I really think we're cussing him, and then boom, 30 seconds, a minute later, he saves his 8th. I think it's his 8th out of 12. It's the most in the Premier League.
I think, isn't it?
Or 5 out of 8. Yeah, I knew. I had it in front of me, and then I lost it. But I mean, it's just that's him right there. It's like we're cussing him, and then we're praising him. There, at least it keeps it in. So I mean, it's just interesting.
He gets no credit.
His dynamics with us.
No credit
for the penalty save, none whatsoever, because it was a stupid penalty. No. You can't give away a stupid penalty and then save it and then want the pat in the back. No way.
Oh no.
We spoke. I think we spoke before the pod started here, and Craig summed it up perfectly. It's like smashing your next door neighbour's window and just going into them afterwards. Oh, I smashed your window, but it's okay. I've cleaned up all the glass. You don't get any credit for it. And look, my bloody granny would have known where Vardy was putting that penalty, because he just the same thing every time. He just smashes down the middle. For me, the most worrying thing was, I think he did when it was 1-0. He tried to do a couple of Cruyff turns and nearly just had a brain fart and nearly lost the ball in the first half, which goes. He just isn't good enough to be Liverpool keeper. End off. I don't want to speak about it anymore. Coutinho gets a free kick. We've spoke about that. We've drooled enough about that. There isn't enough words to describe how perfect that free kick is. You want to have a little word, do you, Randall?
Yeah, just real quick. I just thought I was going to mention this back when we were talking about the lineup. Were you guys surprised at all that he didn't give Danny Ward a shot?
No.
Okay. I just didn't know if I just feel like it's going to happen soon. Yeah, that's what I mean. I think it's just going to happen soon, it's going to happen at some point where he's going to give him a shot. So, I mean, he was just wonderful last year for Huddersfield Town. There's a reason why we didn't let him go back to David Wagner. So it's just, I just thought that was the biggest thing I was looking at, was see if Coutinho was starting, which I thought he would, and then also to see who was in goal, because Mignolet he's not the number one. And the thing is the back four, they play it back to him, and they play it around the back. And it's just like, I hold my breath every time that Lovren plays it back to Mignolet, and then he tries to get wide, and then it's back to Lovren, and it's just too much. I don't know why they even entertain that.
Booting it 60 yards up the field, which he could have done in the first place.
Exactly.
Yeah, because he's he's not able to bloody manage the ball at his feet. Look, we'll speak enough about him later on. It's 2-0 up. We're cruising. They absolutely dominated the game. And then I think in the 56th minute of the first half,
Jonathan, firstly, like, where did he get 2 minutes from? Where did Anthony Taylor get 2 minutes injury time in the first half? Do you guys watch any European football, German football especially? There's no such thing as injury time at the end of the first half in Germany.
In the first half, exactly. No,
it's just 45 minutes whistle blows. Whereas Anthony Taylor decides in his infinite wisdom to give 2 minutes. And Jonathan, I'll let you talk through the next calamity of errors from the referee.
Yeah, well, like, so as you said, what is the 56th minute of the first half? There's a corner comes in. Mingling has his arm.
56, a bit of an exaggeration.
I'm going up hyperbole here. Let me off. Keepers
47 minutes.
His arm. Well, it was way beyond what should have been played. Arm is clearly pulled off.
No, let's rewind. We got to rewind here, buddy.
Well,
rewind
do you
right.
Want to go back to? Do you want to go
back to Vardy? Yeah.
Okay. Well, just to please you then. Okay, Vardy dives, buys a free kick. Ball comes in, goes out for a corner. Then Mingley's arm is pulled off. Somehow officials don't see it. I really can't get my head around it because it's so glaringly obvious. The ball ends up on the back of the net and it completely and utterly changes the course of the game. We go in 2-0 up. We go in 2-0 at half time. That game is over. They roll over in the second half. Instead, we're under the cosh for the first 10 minutes of the second half. Do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah.
Anybody?
Anthony Taylor.
Where you go?
Anthony Taylor isn't alone in this. I've said for weeks and weeks that the refereeing in the Premier League is atrocious. We'll go back to this a little bit. As you said, 47 minutes up, they get a free kick from a dive from Jamie Vardy. And we got to give Matip some abuse here as well because he should have handled that situation a lot better. He let Jamie Vardy buy a free kick there. Then the referee incorrectly gives a free kick. The free kick is taken. Mignolet makes a very good save. 47 and a half minutes gone of 2 minutes of injury time. And there hadn't been any injury since. Then he allows the corner to take place at 47 and a half minutes. The corner comes in. As you said, he's clearly fouled. And what happens? Another Premier League refereeing decision that is an absolute joke. I'll tell you one thing though, I was thinking during the game, guys. We are going to benefit from the video refereeing system more than any other team in the country, I think, because we seem to be getting a lot of decisions go against us. Yeah,
when you go back, what is it, Watford? The one at City, you could argue either way. But the Watford and the Burnley penalty and that goal are just simply scandalous.
Small margins, buddy.
And all this hysteria and doom and gloom doesn't happen if the officials get their bloody decisions right.
Yeah, I mean, it's typical. I mean, yeah, the referee, and you guys said it. I can't even say any more on it. I agree with everything with that. And I mean, but it was just on the face of it, it was just typical Liverpool. We just wanted to get to 2-0, and even though it might not be their fault, it was a goal, and it was 2-1. So I just wanted to get. They say the worst lead in sports is 2-0. Just because if you give up one, it's the team's back in 2-1. So that's just with us. We don't have that killer instinct, to get to right there. It's not yet, but if we can just get to halftime 2-0, we're buzzing. It's just a total different momentum switch, with that. So, there it is. We go to 2-1 at halftime, and, they came back out and they started well, in the second half.
They did. And because of that goal before halftime, their tails are up. And then, to be honest, we're under the little bit of the cosh for 10, 15 minutes, Craig.
Yeah, that sounds about right. We didn't. We sat back deep. We let them have the ball, which we shouldn't have done. They can't create much, though. To be fair, they're not a very creative team. They seem to work better when Jamie Vardy's on the counter attack and they're pinging balls over the top. But I was comfortable for that. If I'm being honest, I was comfortable for that 10 or 15 minutes. But as you said, the main thing was that goal before halftime lifted the crowd. And we all know what the crowd can do to a football team. They can really get their confidence up and intimidate the other team. And it was it was tough to see that for the first 10 or 15 minutes. But then I thought we started to wrestle a toehold in the game again, Jonathan. I thought we began to get control again, thankfully.
Yeah, I've had scribbled down here from about 55 to 60 minutes. We get our foot back on the ball. We pass the ball around. We keep the ball for, I think, solidly for 5 minutes. Go back and forth. And it quietens the whole home crowd who'd been getting very noisy. And all of a sudden there's a few boos coming from them. Our fans are getting to be even heard even louder again. And, the whole thing just zaps away from it. And at this stage, I'm feeling really confident. Sturridge comes on then, who I thought was excellent. I thought he showed new aspects to his game today that I'll be honest, I didn't think he would show. Some very good link up play. He was no longer just getting the ball and seeing how's the quickest way I can get a shot off. And he was summed up really for his movement for his goal. But look, Randall, you want to shoot in there?
Yeah, I mean that's what it was. I feel like Sturridge last year and years past on his assist to Hendo for our third goal, which was turned out to be the winner. He would have gone for goal there, even as a substitute. And I mean that's just kind of an athlete's nature. I mean, especially a striker. You are subbed in, and I mean, what's your goal? Literally, what's your goal is to score. And he was composed. He could have gone for goal there. He passes over to Hendo, which is also composed. Gives a little touch, has the defender fly by, and then has a clinical finish with going back against the grain. Puts it in the left side past Kasper Schmeichel, which, like I said, turned out to be the winner. So I thought that was great football there with both. Sturridge setting him up, and then Hendo, which isn't prolific goal scorer in itself. He is good in a lot of other areas, but that's not the main thing on his score sheet or whatever you want to say for himself. But he was very composed, and it turned out to be the winner and the most needed for the 3 points.
Was anybody surprised at the substitution at who he took off?
A little, but you could see Bobby, as hard as he tried, was probably starting to fade a little. And perhaps it's another way Klopp has shown that he's kind of learning. He's learning from his mistakes, really. All 3 subs were earlier than there's games there where he's gone longer and not made a sub, and at this stage he had 3 subs made. So maybe he learned by his lessons.
I don't know. It's tough because I just wanted to touch on the midfield again before we go through to the end of the pod. How do you guys think Hendo and Chan did today? And Genie, I suppose, as well.
Average at best.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, probably even a little bit below average when it comes to the standard that we've seen with them. We've come to proclaim and praise Hendo for the ground that he covers. But and then Genie, the stats are the stats. His stats away from home, not only on the score sheet where he scores, he doesn't score away from home at all, but not even that, just the tackles and tackles won is pretty surprising. I mean, it'd almost be like don't start him away from home, which you're obviously not going to do. But I to your question, I think it was below average in the midfield, which usually is a plus for us with those 3 guys.
I thought that we wussed out of too many 50-50s and lost far too many 50-50 challenges in the midfield, Jonathan, and it really annoyed me. There were situations there where Emre Can had an opportunity to pass, took an extra touch, and then seemed more intent on shielding the ball with his backside and blocking off the player than actually progressing the play. And Henderson does my head in. Has he ever won an aerial challenge in his life?
Yeah, no, we certainly struggled for long periods, particularly in the second half there when we were getting bashed for a bit. The sooner Keita comes, the better, really.
Why does Klopp never take him off?
Well, like you look at the bench, he brings Miller on eventually. There's not really a hell of a lot of options in centre midfield until Lallana comes back. Then when you see Mane and Lallana back, you're looking at a total different midfield, and as a result, more options to interchange people out of. But yeah, long spells of the game there, we just, it was almost like we didn't want it enough in midfield. We wussing out of tackles. Touch was sluggish. Like Genie's touch there at times, like he was just like bouncing off him. He's going all over the place. Even Chan was doing little flicks to just try and override some of the shit touches he was taking. It wasn't great. It wasn't a great midfield performance by any stretch of the imagination, and that's going mildly with it.
Yeah, I mean, I think before we get too far off of it, this was the biggest, it could have gone a lot worse if it didn't turn out the way it did. But I feel as though that this is a sign of a team that just needs to, this is a building block, or this is a learning experience here, because we score to go up 3-1, and not even a minute later we give away a penalty and it's 3-2. So in a lot of other sports, in baseball over here, it's you take the lead late and then you come back out in the next inning and you give up the lead again. We call it a shutdown inning. So that's what kind of like I compare it to. It's like we need to have a good you never want to give up a goal there after you go up 3-1, but it just was the total opposite of that. We never settled back in, and that's just a sign of a team that needs to work, and we need to learn how to win a little bit more and learn how to protect the lead. It just right away, boom. We went to it. I mean, Mignolet is at fault. He comes out, barrels blazing and totally whiffs on the ball, takes Vardy out. It was a penalty, and it just that just happened later. So
it's tough to sit here and criticize, lads. We don't want to do it after a win, but we've got to be honest. There was faults in that performance and things that we need to brush up on if we're to continue to progress and get to the level of performances that we want and expect and hope for from this team. So I'm sorry if we're coming across negative, but we pride ourselves on this pod of calling what we see, and there was we got lucky to get out there with a win today, but that doesn't take away from the fact that we deserve that luck, because we've had enough bad luck recently, Jonathan.
Absolutely, and I'll be honest. When Henderson scored to put us 3-1 up, I thought this is it. You could, big huge celebration from Klopp. I thought this is it, and then 90 seconds later we shoot ourselves in the foot. Ball comes across. It's whipped in from the right hand side, and Mignolet punches the ball straight across the goal, and it's just a tap in then, and the whole atmosphere changes from if we'd held out another couple of minutes there, we could have probably closed the game out easy, but just shot ourselves in the foot, and it made the last quarter of the game, far more nervous than what it should have been.
Yeah, and I mean that's like I said, it's a learning. We got it out, we got the 3 points, so now it turns into a learning experience. You can look back on it and take the negatives and turn them into positives and also things to work on. So at the end of the day, it's still the beginning of the season. We're fifth. I know we're not. It's not time to talk about the table, but we moved up from 9th to 5th. So we're not. It's not like we're on bottom tier. That's not where Liverpool ever be. But this isn't a total negative bash. The performance is. We got out of there. We scored 3 goals, and they only scored 2 at the end of the day.
The one thing, Jonathan, that we spoke about again during the week, and I spoke to you guys on WhatsApp, was we killed off the game. We actually did it today. There was game management there, and it's no accident that it came after James Milner came onto the field either.
Yeah, no, I know the pair of us kind of joke a whole bit, right, trying to wind you up at the best of times, just about Milner being our best midfielder and all that in a joking way, but he's probably our best midfielder at closing a game like that out. It showed all his experience there at the end. Some of the things he did just to wind the clock down. Some of the balls that he won, just stepping in the right place. Because let's be fair, we were under the caution after the penalty that we've previously discussed. It is a bit of pandemonium for the whole last while. And were you nervous coming into the last couple of minutes after the penalty? Did you think he was going to score, or were you kind of optimistic like me that he was going to save it?
Well, I think one thing to Craig's point, it was game management, and there's been worse, and take this situation where it's happened in previous games that, it's been a lot more nerve wracking. Yes, this was very nerve wracking, but we kept our shape. It wasn't as frantic. We allowed Mignolet was smart with his goal kicks, wasting amount of time, to be along with the rule, not getting a yellow card, it just, I think it was like we learned how to win a little bit there. So, and that's a positive that we can take out of this, because we've had decisions go against us in the Watford game, and they get a point, and it's just it was a good that part of it. I feel like we closed out the game well, and it's something that we can learn from and be prepared for those same situations later in the season.
Yeah, I have to say, Craig, I know we'll try. We've spoken about it negatively there for a while, so we'll try and kind of end on a positive as we come to wrap this up. But one of the biggest positives that I'll take from it is the kind of the lessons and the signs that we showed we learned lessons from the last while in terms of our game management there, just the way we structured ourselves. You know, you have a couple of earlier substitutions, we winded down the clock pretty well. They're all positives for me, and of course getting Coutinho back on the pitch as well. But did you like that kind of Oakley side to the game, for want of a better word, that we added at the end?
Absolutely. I've been screaming for it for a long time, and fair play to the guys. You know what? They did it. It's not all about open attack and play and scoring goals. There's times where you have to do the dark arts and the things that we don't like seeing in football, but it happens, it exists, and it helps close out games. Milner went down with an injury there, which took, I think, a minute and a half out of Leicester's injury time. Took the momentum away from them, if nothing else, because it breaks up their patterns of play, gives everybody a chance to reset. Moreno took a lovely foul off Vardy as well and made sure he stayed down for a minute just at the end. And these are things that you have to do when you're one goal ahead away from home. Whether it's your keeper getting booked for taking too long with kickouts or whatever it is, the referee might point at his watch and say he'll add time on, but he's never going to add on the amount of time that you've actually taken and wasted, because, as Klopp said, it does go in your favour. It does break up momentum in a game and take the sting out of the game. And I was very, 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 very impressed that we closed out that game today. Yeah,
and what pleased me much as well, Randall, was just the way we just dug in. We did all the things we had to do just to scrape over the line. That had to be pleasing for you to watch as well.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say. We really dug in, and we learned how to win. It's each team. Yeah, this team might be very similar to last year's, but it's a new campaign, and this will be good going forward. That we away from home, it's not easy in the Premier League, so we have to remember that as well. And there are positives to this, that we dug in, we got through, we didn't concede to tie it up, and we got out of there with 3 points, so we can move on to an important match this week.
Yeah, as you said, 3 points was all what we asked for today, and we got them, and it feels great. I'm going to do the pointless man of the match competition, because no matter what you guys choose, I have the man of the match picked already. So look, we'll go around. Craig, who was your man of the match?
I thought Jamie Vardy was excellent.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, good game. I was going to go with Anthony Taylor myself. Followed closely by Simon Mingley.
Look, you said it yourself. It's open and shut case. There's not even a debate about it. Even Glenn Hoddle got it right, which was nice to see.
I think it was the change. As we said, the one thing he got right, wasn't it? Jeez, he's an awful man to listen to.
I don't know how anybody employs him or says, what, we need an expert. Who do we get? Who will the people like? Who will we get? And who will get bodies to tune in? But look, yeah, it's Felipe Coutinho all day long, and absolutely deserved.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's the positive thing to this is for him. He obviously has all the confidence in the world in himself, and obviously with the all the stuff that went on with Barca and everything else, we need to channel that to keep his confidence at sky high. And this does that for him. I mean, he's one of the best free kick takers in the world, and I mean that's going to be a big thing for us if we can sort out our back four. I mentioned it earlier in the pod that sometimes that in games that free kick would have been the deciding factor on a 2-1 win, or something like that, a 1-0 win. So it's definitely great to see Philippe back in the side and on the score sheet, and roll on. We go again.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what, lads, I'm so looking forward to having Mane back. It seems a really harsh penalty as well, because Klopp said he's 3.5 games he's after missing from that red card, which just seems ludicrous. But look, he's going to be back. Tough game coming ahead for us on Tuesday. Moscow is certainly not an easy place to go, and fingers crossed we get some type of result out there.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to ask you guys is, do you think there's going to be any issues with us and United, our traveling fans and United over there? There's been reports that there's more police presence because they know. Now, what goes on? I don't want to get too long-winded. I want you guys to kind of educate with me. Are the Russian fans, do they target the English fans that come over, or are they worried about us fighting with United fans?
I think from look, I don't have much experience of this, so we can only talk from what I've seen. I'll take the Euros as an example. It almost seems to me, as an outside observer, like the Russian hooligans, if you want to call them that, almost want
Russian ultras is what I read.
They just want to demonstrate to the English that they're harder than them, because hooliganism and football was really an English thing for a long time. A problem that the English game had to deal with. Yeah, and I think
Russia, it in the 80s?
The 80s to, well, I think maybe even earlier, but certainly towards the early 90s. But it's a thing I think Russia are trying to prove their hardness, almost like that we're real men, you guys aren't, and it's something that's out of the game and shouldn't be in the game. So I hope it gets stamped out, and I hope there's no incidents, because travelling fans go through a lot to go over to the games, whether they be Manchester United fans, whether they be Liverpool fans. You have to take your hat off to them. It's not an easy place. You got to go get visas. They had to go to Manchester, I think, to get the visas to get over. So look, hopefully they all go.
Hats off to the club that they came in and they paid. I think they paid for the visa fees for our traveling fans, and that's the one thing. My last thing on this, I just wanted to ask you guys about it to see what what your experience, or you guys are a little bit more plugged in than me. But one thing with my friends over there, that I'm coming over in March, and if we progress, we could still be in the Champions League. And what they did say is, well, I said, what if it's an away? Will we still be able to go? And they said, yeah, anywhere but Russia. And I asked why, and they said visas and just the safety. And we kind of talked before the pod. There's no reason. This is still a game, and we're still human beings. There's no reason why we should really resort to call on violence. We can be intense, but that was just my question. Was just to know what your guys' experience is with that.
To be fair to Russia as well, they hosted the Confederations Cup very well. There was very few incidents from what I remember there. So fingers crossed they host this, and then the World Cup, and everything goes well. Everyone has a great time and returns safely.
Absolutely, yeah. We just give a shout out. I have a couple of mates heading over, and I think everybody knows someone that's going over. So hope everyone stays safe and brings back 3 points, because that would be lovely. Look, we will wrap up the ramblings here. Great to have a win to talk about. It just kind of eases the whole doom and gloom, and everyone's a lot happier when the Reds win. So I'd like to thank the guys, Craig and Randall, for joining me tonight. A shout out as well to our sponsors, armortalent.com. Thanks very much for your continued sponsorship, guys. Just a kind of a preview what's ahead. It's a busy week ahead. Champions League, as we've discussed. We'll be back Monday night first with the Woolcast. So look forward to the usual drama and carnage that goes on with that. Tuesday night, hopefully after another win, we'll be off the cuff, and we'll have ARW Weekly on Thursday night as well. So busy week ahead, and let's hope we can get a bit of momentum going, and continues back. 3 points are in the bag, and everything is nice and rosy. Up the Reds, folks. Take care, and we'll talk to you all soon.